Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood DJ Jazz Hands here at Wizard World 2017 with Travis. And now Travis, you made this really cool comic book. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, it's called Liberty Deception. It is a sci-fi action adventure. Kind of on a distant planet far from Earth, this military state is keeping us safe from gangs beyond the walls.
That sounds like it sounds like right up my alley. So what was the inspiration and kind of like background that made you want to come up with this really cool story?
So I played a lot of D&D, I still do, and I started sort of my sci-fi variant of D&D and made this world up and built it. And I guess eventually I wanted to tell stories set in the universe, and it was pretty fun.
That sounds like honestly like an awesome time, and I'm always big for fantasy. Now, what's interesting about you guys is that you guys kind of started this by yourselves. Like, there was no huge corporation, there was no like DC, Marvel, anything. How'd you guys kind of get started into not just making it a idea, but into an actual comic book with a hardback?
So we made a lot of mistakes. I guess trying is really what it came down to. We did a lot of work that sucked. I've been trying this for about 10 years, and only in the last 2 or 3 have I really been doing pretty good at this. Like, we released a book about 5 years ago that was awful. But I learned a lot. Don't use Comic Sans when you're doing the lettering, things like that. So really it's just trial and error, but just doing something, anything, even if it's bad, and then you can always improve off that. But in terms of printing it, we did a Kickstarter to pay for the printing costs because those are pretty substantial.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. So and then you said that you have like an international team, correct?
Correct. We're located on 6 of the 7 continents, but we've been to Antarctica. One of us has been to Antarctica once, so I can say like all 7 continents. That's kind of cool. We're probably the most diverse team in the world.
It sounds like it. I mean, it honestly sounds like it. And from going from just having an idea to creating this amazing comic book, or this novel. So how did the team kind of come together? I mean, was it like, hey, we have this, we have that, or was it like the A-team where it's like, boom, we got it, let's do it?
I actually had looked through 1,600 profiles online, so if you do the math, it's actually over 30 hours of just looking through like DeviantArt, looking through all of the different websites out there. Odesk, I think they might have rechanged their name since then, but till I found the perfect, like, I picked my top 3 people. Then I contacted the number 1 and he said yes. I was like, yes, this is amazing. And then I've got to go to a bunch of conventions to sell the bad comic at the time. And I met some really talented letterers and people as well, and more internet looking after that. It's been cool.
That sounds like an awesome way to kind of bring a team together and to start really from, scratch, essentially. What were some of the other inspirations that you had for your book?
I credit the book a little bit to Clockwork Orange and The Dirty Dozen, kind of these, really out there, questioning what morality, can really mean. Our world is resource scarcity based, so the food kind of runs out at certain parts of the world, and when someone dies, those are parts that can be used. So cannibalism is kind of like, it's not a social taboo like it is for us. It's not like, oh, they're cannibals, they're bad guys. I'm trying to blur the line of good and bad and not really make it too much of, oh, this is a good guy or bad guy. In fact, the words good and bad don't appear in anything we do.
That's fantastic, honestly. I love a story that can kind of blur the lines and have such an interesting and diverse kind of story along with it. So is there anything else that you would like to tell about the story? And possibly people that want to kind of get into either creating comic books or creating stories and don't know how to start?
Honestly, if you're looking to get into comics, there's a guy named Jim Zub, Z-U-B. If you look him up, he's got a website that has a bunch of how-tos that are very informative, very intelligently done. He's worked on like Dungeons and Dragons. He's got his own stories as well that he's been creating. Other things I'd like to say is we also do a free audio drama podcast. It is like listening to a movie with sound effects, bullets going by your head. Voice actors from The Walking Dead and Borderlands are on our show. It's free, new episodes every 2 weeks.
Wow, why voice actors from the video games or from the
Yeah, the video games. Dave Fennoy, if you're familiar with the main character, basically, from the Walking Dead video game. He's on our show quite a bit, and you can hear it for free on like iTunes or our website, libertyendures.com.
That's fantastic. I mean, so it sounds like you guys really have a lot, going for you for essentially starting from, I don't want to keep saying starting from scratch, but it's a fantastic, and I love seeing this story of like how somebody had an idea, and now you got a web show and you got these comics, and it's fantastic. So definitely check these guys out. I'll put a link down to your guys' podcast and website down below and everything like that. So thanks again so much, man.
Hey, thank you
for joining us, and we'll get more Wizard World fun stuff coming up.